A little treat time for the cats. There you go. There you go, buddy. Good boy. All right. It is dark out here. Hey guys, how are ya? Welcome back to my channel. It's me, Steven. It looks like the sun is still setting back there, but no, it's pretty dark outside, and it's summer is over. Let's just say that. It is 6:59 in the evening on October 5th. Welcome to Vlogtober Day 5. And I realized it was like 6:30, and I was eating 2 spoonfuls of peanut butter out of the jar because I hadn't eaten all day and I was getting kind of spacey. And I'm like, oh, I never forget to eat. I wish I could forget to eat. Just doesn't happen. But I was so distracted by playing video games today that I didn't bother eating. So I woke up a little early. The cats woke me up for treats. You know, Eleanor's in my ear going, wah, 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 wah. Buddy wanted his treats. So I woke up about 6 o'clock this morning, gave them their treats, got back in bed, slept until about 9:30, and then just hung out and played Starfield and just relaxed all day long. Took a little nap, hung out with the cats. It was perfect. It's been so wonderful. I am looking forward to going back to work almost desperately. I really can't wait to go back to work because I love my job so much. To be away from it for like a week and a half has really been kind of awkward. But I am going to stop into one of my favorite restaurants in Las Vegas. It's right across the way here, called Erewhon, right there, Thai Bistro. There's like, I don't know, 6 tables in there. It's a tiny, tiny little joint, and I don't think it's very busy right now because 7 o'clock on a Thursday is probably not banging at a Thai restaurant. So I'm going to check that out. Probably have some pad thai. And then I figured I had very little to share with you today. But one of you guys asked me in the comment section a question that really doesn't cross my mind very often, but I thought would be interesting to answer, would be, why do flight attendants quit their jobs? Why do people leave the industry? And, well, for every reason I can think someone would leave the job is probably a reason that I stay in the job, which is very funny. But I'm going to have something to eat, and then I'll sit with you guys for a few minutes and we'll chat about why some people leave this job and what the most difficult parts of this job really, really are. So I will see you in just a few minutes, hopefully with a very full belly. All right, I'll see you soon. Toodaloo. Doesn't that look fantastic? It's string beans and chicken and basil and peppers. So good. And a little rice. Oh, that was so delicious. If you're in the Las Vegas area and you want some Thai food, it's in a weird area. It's something called the Commercial District. It's like a square strip mall with a giant parking lot in the middle. Most of the storefronts are closed. So it's not like the most ambitious of areas, but the restaurant is so delicious. The food is so good. The prices have gone up quite a bit, though. I was a little surprised by that. It's been a little while since I've been in there. I used to get pad thai all the time, just the chicken pad thai, no shrimp. I don't like shrimp. But the presentation was so good on that pad thai. It was like a molded plate of pad thai, and over the top of it was like a net that they used, like it must be scrambled eggs or something in a squeeze bottle, but they would like have this net of egg holding this molded, which does not sound very appealing, does it? It was delicious and very nicely presented, but it was like $25, and I decided, no, I don't like to spend that much money on food. I'm gonna forget I ate it 20 minutes later. Why am I gonna spend a lot of money on a meal? I'm so cheap sometimes. But I instead got the chicken with string beans and peppers and shredded basil. I forget what else was in the dish, with some white rice on the side. It was so delicious, and it was $16 versus $25. So I really, really, really enjoyed it. It's in the commercial center, or the commercial district, which is a weird little area. It's like a rectangular strip mall where most of the stores are closed. So it's not the most aspirational area. But again, if you're in the Vegas area, you're looking for Thai food in a little place, nothing big and crazy. It's a hole in the wall. It's called Erewhon. So good. And right nearby, almost next door, there is a recovery meeting that starts at 8 o'clock. And the lights were off in the hall, but I just saw them go on now. So I think I'm going to hit a recovery meeting really quick. And then we'll chat about why I think some people quit the job as a flight attendant. So I'm going to hit that meeting. I've got 15 minutes. I will see you later. Hey there. All right, so I'm just about to walk into the meeting. It starts in about 10 minutes, but I just watched the video clips I had filmed a little bit earlier today, including one where I was giving cats their treats, Eleanor and Buddy. And if you've not been with me for a long time, you might have thought that was a little weird. Like I would I would apply some of the treat on my little fingertip, and I would give it to the cats, and they would lick it off my finger. And I gave it to Buddy, and he would lick it off my finger. And I'm thinking, people who don't know me and my cats would think I'm a little weird for putting cat treats on my finger and having them lick it off my finger. It just sounds a little wild. But that's just how they've always got their treats. When I first got them in the house, and I found that they really liked these treats a lot, I was also trying to reinforce their names so they would understand and respond and come when I called their names. And that was a great way for me to like reinforce their name. I would have a little on my finger, give it to Claire, say, here, Claire, here you go. And then have a little bit more on my finger. All right, here, Eleanor, here's yours. And then Buddy. And every time I gave them a little treat, I would say their name. And so now they respond to their names as if, I don't know, they're a sentient. Well, they kind of are. But I just wanted to like stop, and some of you out there were like, what is he doing with those cat treats? All right, let me go out to that meeting. I will see you later. Hey guys, hi, welcome home. I just got back from dinner and a meeting, and man, I am so happy right now. My belly is full with Thai food and some birthday cake. I went to a recovery meeting around the corner from the restaurant, and there were only 4 of us, which can sometimes be a little strange with that few people there. But one guy was there. It was his 3rd day sober, and another fellow was celebrating his 40th anniversary. So it was really quite an inspiring meeting. It was pretty fantastic. Plus there was birthday cake because of his anniversary, so that was even better. But I've been telling you this entire video that we're going to talk about some reasons people quit being a flight attendant. I am nowhere near that point myself, but someone asked recently, and I think it's a great topic, especially for people who are contemplating starting this career path because they have something in their mind of what the job is really like. The reality is sometimes very different. Expectations are something you really should not have in this career. But let's start with some reasons in no particular order. Fatigue. Fatigue is horrible. If you've ever had children, like a newborn, where they have to eat every 45 minutes or something, you can't sleep. There's no sleep. There's no rest for the newborn parent. Or if you've ever nursed kittens, I've had to nurse newborn kittens, and they had to be fed every 2 hours. Oh man, that was painful. That was horrible. That fatigue, that exhaustion, now stretch that every night almost for at least your first year. It's devastating. It's like waterboarding. Honestly, it's just, you can go through a night or two of being tired or sleepy, but in your first year at least, especially if you're on reserve, fatigue can be just deadly. It's awful, and it can weigh so much, and it can be a bigger thing than it really is. And a lot of people, that's enough. I can't do this. I can't go literally without sleeping. If we have, I think, is it a 10-hour minimum? I think it's a 10-hour minimum rest that we're allowed minimum. So if we have a 4-hour work day, say we had 2 quick flights and it's a 4-hour duty day, that turns into a 14-hour duty day because of delays cancellations, whatever. We finally get to our destination where we were supposed to have a 25-hour layover or whatever. Suddenly, I have a 10-hour layover, and I have to somehow magically sleep on cue and do all the things I have to do. Visit the little boy's room, take a shower, get to sleep, eat dinner, blah, 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 and then be at the airplane once again 10 hours later. Man, it's soul-sucking. It doesn't sound like much, but when it happens out of the blue over and over again, the fatigue, it builds up. It's like, again, it's like having a newborn, that level of exhaustion. And it just sometimes feels like it's going to take over your life and it's going to suck your soul out of your nose. That's what it can really feel like. And for some people, that's enough. Sorry, this isn't cut. I'm not cut out for this. I, in 6.5 years, have really just started to not even master, be able to handle sleeping on a layover appropriately. Once I get finished with my video game that I'm playing lately, Starfield, it'll be better. But yeah, sleeping is still very hard for me 6.5 years later. Loneliness is a huge thing. Now, I would also slide homesickness in there. A lot of people, especially younger folks, who maybe haven't even gone away for college, they've always had friends, they've always had family, they've always had a boyfriend or someone around them. Some people don't even know how to eat dinner in a restaurant or go to a movie by themselves. Never mind all the time being in strange cities all by yourself, being in hotels all by yourself with no money. We'll talk about that later. Or you get a crew of people like me who have become slam clickers. I'm a complete slam clicker these days. A slam clicker is that flight attendant who gets to the hotel, slams the door, clicks the lock closed, and you don't see them again until the next morning. And then you're a brand new flight attendant all by yourself. You have no one around, and you're used to having friends and family. And yeah, it can be devastating. Personally, it's not a huge issue for me. It never has been. I've always pretty much been a loner. I've always flown kind of solo. And as long as I have my cats to come home to, I'm fine. I'm fine personally. So I find it funny that most of the reasons that people quit are some of the reasons I stay. Because loneliness isn't an issue for me, but loneliness and homesickness can be particularly awful. Things that we miss is what I wrote down here. The stuff we're going to miss. We're going to miss friends' weddings. We're going to miss funerals. We're going to miss some really big graduations. We're going to miss a whole bunch of really important moments in our lives. If you are a big member of a big family, or you have a lot of friends and stuff, there's a lot of familial obligations we have to be there for one another. And as a new flight attendant especially, and you're on reserve, or you are a line holder, but you're a junior line holder, so you really don't get fantastic schedules or always get the days off you want, you're going to miss a lot of those big things. And it can be really heartbreaking to say, sorry, yeah, I have to be in Ohio when you're getting married and you're my best friend. You know, there are ways to kind of get around that. If you are a new line holder, for example, in my airline, I know you can play it like this, but if you're a new line holder and there's something really big coming up next month that you have to go to, you can bid reserve just to get that particular day off. And that's frequently a way that people can get around that when you're relatively junior. But you miss a lot of big things, and it can be heartbreaking. But on the flip side, we get, in my airline, reserves get at least 12 days off a month, 13 days off a month if there's 31 days in the month. Normal people don't get that much time off every month. Like, it's like getting a long weekend every week, you know? So that gives us time to actually do things or make up for things or create new traditions. If you are a brand new flight attendant and you know you can't do Christmas with your family, that's an opportunity for you and your family to do a different date for Christmas and celebrate it the week before, the week after, and make it your own special tradition for you and your family until you're senior enough to get back to, being able to do what you want when you do it. But you will miss a lot of things, and it can be heartbreaking. But again, for every christening you're going to miss, you're going to have fantastic layovers. Like, I've got 30 hours in San Francisco my next trip. That's pretty fantastic. When's the last time you had 30 hours in San Francisco, or 24 hours in New York, or 24 hours in Miami, or in San Juan, or wherever? So again, for everything we miss as a flight attendant, we have an opportunity to gain something as well. So just to say a little silver lining there. Finances. So I was thinking, a video I would like to make one day is things you have to do before you even prepare to apply for a flight attendant position. First, you have to really get rid of all of your bills. If you own a home, do you want to rent it out? Do you want to get a roommate to reduce your prices? Do you have a partner who can take the brunt of the financial responsibility for that house? How can you reduce your major big bills? But so many people have school loans, rent, mortgages, children, pets, a lot of financial obligations in their life, and then they become a flight attendant. And I'll tell you, that first paycheck, the first 2, 3, 4, 10, 12 paychecks will make you cry, because you're not making a lot of money. You could be working for the biggest legacy airline ever, and you're still going to be taking a big significant pay cut, I can promise you. My first year, now I work for a small low-cost airline, so we don't get paid especially well. But right now, I should say, our current starting pay is $20-something an hour, $22 an hour, $23 an hour. That sounds great until you realize you're only getting paid for 70 hours a month, 72 hours a month. So that 20-something turns into 10-something an hour. Plus per diem. There are ways to kind of get a little extra money, but the first year or two is financially really, really difficult. And if you've ever suffered financial instability, or you just really lived without, it's hard. It's hard. And you add that financial insecurity to loneliness, homesickness, fatigue, and you can see why a lot of people quit being a flight attendant, because it's not just one of these things. It's the whole package. Passengers. Now, if I'm on board an aircraft and I'm chatting with a passenger, and they'll say, "What's your favorite part of your job?" And I say, "Well, you tell me. What do you guess is my favorite part of the job?" And they're going to say, "Oh, traveling." They're going to say seeing different parts of the world, having nice hotel rooms, and blah blah blah. I'm like, no, my favorite part of my job is my passengers, interacting with my passengers, because there's always, I can say mostly always, somebody on that aircraft I'm going to connect with. I'm going to have a great experience with. I'm going to hear a really great story. There's just a lot of opportunity. There's 182 passengers on our most common aircraft. That's a lot of opportunities to make a new acquaintance or hear a great story. But passengers can also be horrible. I mean, horrible. Just look at the way that they'll leave the bathroom sometimes. I can't even describe to you the conditions that we'll find in those lavatories. They're just so But passengers can be awful. Now, I work for a low-cost airline, and if you've seen a lot of YouTube videos of what some of our passengers, how they can behave on an airline, that's very unusual. They just happen to be filmed. But yeah, passengers can be really, really bad. They're not thinking, "Oh, gee, she's missing her best friend's wedding, and she's going to have 4 hours of sleep tonight, so maybe I should treat her better." No, people just, they focus on their own needs and their own personal spaces. So sometimes they're just not patient or kind or mindful or thoughtful. And passengers can be horrible. They can really be horrible. As much as they can be great, they can be bad. And if you add a bunch of really rude passengers or horrible children, to a day of deep bone-crushing fatigue where you miss your mom and dad, you're missing your best friend's wedding, you're going to want to quit. You're just going to want to quit. Passengers are probably my favorite part of the job, but I can also see how they can be eventually a real challenge. Commuting. Oh, I honestly, there is no way I could possibly ever commute. I made a video probably 5.5 years ago about me going to San Diego to get my passport renewed, and the stress of just getting from San Diego back to Las Vegas was enough to make me think I'm never going to be able to commute. Commuting can be a separate job. If you live in, I'm thinking of Trolley Dolly. If you watch Trolley Dolly on YouTube, I love her. But she was based in Orlando, but lived in Minneapolis. No, I lied to you. She lived in Orlando, based in Minneapolis. Imagine commuting to Minneapolis from Orlando just to start a 14-hour duty day. No, so I can't. Now, if you add those commuting woes to loneliness, fatigue, no money, you're paying for your own hotel room because your airline doesn't offer rooms for commuters, and blah, blah, blah. It's going to be a reason you're going to quit. It's going to be one of the reasons. It's not glamorous. Oh, boy, no. People, that seems to have stuck around longer than it should have. People imagining this job to be glamorous. It doesn't help that there's a handful of flight attendants out there who only show their trips to, London and Paris, and I'm going to Harrods for this and that and the other. They're not sleeping when they should be, but they're going to Harrods. There are some people who illustrate this, make this job look a little bit more glamorous than it really is. But you're going to have to handle the fact that you are fatigued, you're lonely, you're homesick, you've missed your best friend's wedding, you have no money, so you're eating ramen noodles out of the cart because you can't afford food in the airport. And then a passenger hands you a very hot, warm, used diaper. A very full diaper. And there's a very particular weight to that diaper. So you're like, is this what I think it is? This is biohazard. Could you just please next time? So you're taking trash bags or pushing carts, collecting garbage all day long. Shortly after I first started, boy, I feel passionate about this topic. Shortly after I first started, one of my coworkers was upset that this passenger wasn't respecting her. He was asking her to do something she didn't want to do. She didn't think she had to do. And honestly, it was difficult because she's like, I'm not his servant. I didn't want to say, you kind of are, because our job is to serve. We're there as safety professionals and all that stuff too, but we are there to be the face of our airline. We're there to make sure they're comfortable as well as safe. Our job is to serve, and we don't always have to like how we're treated, but you have to be civil in return. I don't know. It was a difficult conversation to have, but it is not glamorous. It hasn't been glamorous for a long time. Is it fun? Oh, yes. It can be a riot a minute. It can be amazing. It can be exciting. It's hugely rewarding. It's also sometimes incredibly boring and bone-crushingly boring at sometimes. That's probably another issue. Some people are very bored. If you've had a 9-to-5 job where you're doing the paperwork and this, you've got goals, you've got deadlines, you're doing this, and you're finding a sense of achievement for hitting each of these goals, and then you become a flight attendant. And honestly, some of your goals are just not to blow a slide and not to be a jerk, and sometimes that's all you have to do. It can be difficult. So none of these, I think that's my list. Oh, it is. None of these things as an individual issue that is usually the reason people quit. I've seen a ton of people who have started after me, who are junior to me, quit the job. Oh, the last thing. One of the other reasons people quit being a flight attendant with a particular airline is to jump ship to a different airline thinking the grass is greener. For example, a lot of my coworkers have in the past have swapped for the Love airline. I've had a bunch of my coworkers jump to the Love airline who have then jumped over to the Passport Plum airline, if you know who I'm talking about. Because the grass is greener. It's a more prestigious airline. The grass isn't always greener. I don't know. But a lot of people quit to go to a different airline. And I'll tell you, not a great move, because seniority is everything. And that's a different video. Blah, blah, blah. I think that's enough chatter for me. This is me completely decaffeinated too. Can you tell? I'm like wired because of the topic, I guess. I am going to let you guys go. I'm going to say, give my cats some cuddles. I'm going to turn all of these lights off so that Buddy can finally look outside the front window here, because the reflection's stopping him from actually being able to look outside. And I want to check my front door. If you remember a video recently where my the front of my condo was vandalized with spray paint, that woman has been back. And someone, while I was filming this, I heard someone wiggle my door over here. So I'm going to check out the front of my house and see what's going on, if anything's happened. Blah, blah, blah. Does he stop talking? I'll talk to you tomorrow, all right? Have a great night. Fly safe.